How's it going, everyone? Got a couple updates to talk about this video. There are rumblings of a PlayStation showcase that'll be happening at the end of this year. I know at this point, like, talking about stuff like this is kind of comical, but I'll give a mention to that, and on top of that, Summer Game Fest. Bit of an update from Jeff Keighley noting, don't expect big reveals at Summer Game Fest, and you know what? I like that he is setting expectations right off the bat, and actually something he specifically noted, I am very happy about it, and we'll talk that in just a little bit. But first of all, I don't really know how to interpret it, but a lot of people are taking it from Insider Gaming and Tom Henderson that there will be a PlayStation showcase by the end of the year. There's rumblings of a Horizon X Lego game, which I actually would be fascinated by. I think a Horizon X Lego game sounds like a lot of fun and something I would be all over. He noted, presumably such an announcement will be saved for Summer Game Fest in June or the PlayStation Showcase towards the end of the year. The fact he says the PlayStation Showcase towards the end of the year made a lot of people think that the PlayStation Showcase will be happening by the end of the year, which I honestly don't think is a bad idea. Look, I do feel like there is a little bit of a change going on in gaming, and maybe this is me pushing the cart before the horse a little bit too much, but I do think some of these publishers are starting to get away from the idea of announcing a game 5 years ahead of time, or 6 years, 7 years ahead of time, because there's really no reason for it, or even 3 years ahead of time. It really doesn't do anything in garnering a lot of interest from the audience. There's a time you need to do it, and that's when you are trying to get over a new console. That's what Sony very much did with the PlayStation 5 by announcing games like Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine, where Wolverine, we probably won't get that until 2026, and that game was announced in 2021. Where they were revealing games like the Knights of the Old Republic remake, which I'm sure they intended for that game to come out in 2026, 2027, but now it probably just won't even ever happen. Quantic Dream Star Wars game, so on and so forth. I do feel like we're getting away from that a little bit. Obviously, there are going to be times where you do teaser trailers for games that are 2-3 years out, but it does feel like more and more developers and publishers are starting to think, hey, people don't really like when we reveal games 5 to 10 years ahead of time, and I think it's something that we absolutely need to get away from. And if that's the case, then I would much rather take a very mediocre or a poor state of play event, even a poor showcase like we had in 2023, but I'm still gonna call it out for being bad. Look, Sony doesn't get to get away with investing so many resources into live service games just for that to bite them in the ass and cause a delay in their first party output. They don't just get to get away with that and me being like, oh, it's just because games aren't coming out for a long time, that's why the showcase were bad. No, if the development was being allocated properly, you should have at least somewhat notable stuff to show off every year, and what we're seeing in 2023 and 2024 was a result of the heavy emphasis in live service. Imagine the resources put towards Concord was put towards something else that people would be captivated by. Concord's the biggest DOA I think I've ever seen in my life, and maybe that's a little bit of a stretch, but there's been a lot of DOAs, but you get the idea. It's because of poor resource management and their decision making. Look, they're chasing the live service gravy train. I can't hate on them for that. They're a business at the end of the day. Just about every publisher has done that, but that did bite them a little bit with their lackluster 2023 and 2024 output. From a first-party standpoint, I get it. We got FF7 Rebirth, timed exclusive Stellar Blade, timed exclusive Rise of Ronin, timed exclusive, but from a first-party standpoint and the in-house Sony studios, it's been rather lackluster. And also, that's an element of game development cycles been incredibly lengthened, whereas in the past, you would get 3 Uncharted games in the span of 4 years. Now, in the span of 4 years, Naughty Dog puts out a couple remasters and cancels a game or puts it on hiatus like they did with Last of Us Factions. You know, it's a different world that we're living in. I just think about an event like E3 of 2009 where people were floored by the Uncharted 2 demo that year. When was the last time I feel like people were really floored by something Sony has shown off? I don't even remember it. I don't think Spider-Man 2 did that last year. That game was great. But in terms of just being an incredible title, and remember, Uncharted 2 was the opener of E3 of 2009. They closed out with God of War 3, and by the way, God of War 3, E3 of 09 happened in June. God of War 3 was out in March. Uncharted 2 was out in October, so you had a game that was coming out in 7 months and a game that was coming out in 4 months, really being the showcase titles. Now, to be fair, they also did reveal Last Guardian in that E3 event, and you guys know how that turned out, but Nonetheless, that is just me being nostalgic, and I have to come to terms that we're never gonna get events like that anymore with development cycles being so much lengthier. You really can only reveal one big game in an event, and you're only gonna get 1 or 2 notable titles a year. Or in 2024, where in terms of really, really big games, it's 0. Although Astrobot, that might fit into the really big tier. I gotta hear more about that game. We gotta know a little bit more about it. But I am super excited for that game, and that could be a standout. But if there is a showcase by the end of the year, hopefully that sets the table for an incredible 2025. Because while I think a lot of people view 2024 as a cooldown year, 2025 is a big chance for them to rebound. You've got titles like third-party exclusives like Death Stranding 2, but if we could get a Tsushima 2 in there, and another big exclusive, maybe that Venom game or Spider-Man 2 DLC, man, we'd be really cooking for 2025 to at least have a pretty good year. Moving on from that, Summer Game Fest is happening in just a little bit, and I feel like a lot of people were disappointed by Game Fest last year. I thought it was okay and a totally serviceable event. Keeley did note that a lot of games won't be shown off. Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater will not be shown. Kingdom Hearts 4 is off the table. Wolf Among Us 2 off the table as well. That is just so depressing. Are we ever gonna get the game? He noted the Game Awards has a lot of usually big surprises. We're thankful for those and big new reveals. This Summer Game Fest is largely focused on announced stuff. This is the best part. There are definitely things that are being announced, but this is not a show that has a lot of, like, coming in 2026 or 2027 or teasers for games that are years and years out. That's generally what I would say in terms of expectation setting. Great! I don't even want to know about, you know, whatever game you're working on. You know what I would be really interested in? Just revealing, to me, just revealing smaller scale games. Like, if Bandai Namco and Jeff Keighley, I know, have a great relationship, if we get like an announcement of a Tales of the Abyss remaster or a brand new Tales of game, boom, that's a W to me. That would be a great announcement, and I think that's something we could see at Summer Game Fest, and hopefully that would be out in the relatively near future. Games of that caliber, and I hate to always go back to the JRPGs, but you get it, but there are also games like Monster Hunter Wilds, Metaphor Ray Fantasio, Kingdom Come 2. There's a lot of titles that you could showcase that people would be captivated by and would be out by the end of this year or 2025, and that's what I hope Summer Game Fest does center around. Even if it's not the biggest reveals in the world, look, I would much rather take the state of play that we just got, where it was announcements and reveals of things that are coming out in the near future, rather than announcing things like the KOTOR remake and games that might not even come out, or games that are total vaporware. And maybe we'll see Phantom Blade Zero at Summer Game Fest as well. That could be something to be excited about, and hopefully, if they reveal the game, the next time we see Phantom Blade Zero, you gotta announce a release window as well, because if you don't, like, at that point, I'm just labeling that game as vaporware as well. Like, I don't care at that point. You already did the gameplay trailer. Give me a release window and something tangible so we can know when the game is dropping and it's not going to be a Lost Soul Aside situation. But that'll do it for me. Again, PlayStation Showcase looking to happen by the end of this year. Hopefully that sets the table for a great 2025, and that's really all you could ask for. And if a showcase happens at the end of this year, you could even announce some 2026 stuff. I don't think that would be too big. Naughty Dog has been synonymous with PlayStation, and them not putting out a new game since 2020, and Last of Us Part 2 is having a mixed reception. You know, that's a little bit unfortunate. They gotta put out something here soon to captivate people, I feel. And Summer Game Fest focusing on stuff that is coming out in the near future, which I am all about. Even if it's lackluster, I'm all about announcing stuff that's going to be out in the relatively near future, and rather than, you know, announcing games that might not even ever come out, and might not come out in our lifetime, to be frank. That'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Sound off there. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.